In this video, we are going to talk about Bret, some of the recent price action, some of the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect Bret to go in the coming days and weeks. We'll start by looking at the weekly chart, and what can I really say, guys? It's looking really bad. Bret has just been dumping throughout the entire year. Since the all-time high all the way back in late 2024, Bret is currently nearly at an all-time low, with the all-time low being back at the liquidation event that we had in October. It was an absolutely insane liquidation event that led to Bret, as well as a bunch of other altcoins mostly, to dump by insane amounts, but we're getting very close to the same level that we were at back in that liquidation event, and this is really the only support level that we have at the moment. And if we do go down below this area of about 1 cent, then we will literally have no more support areas left, and that will officially be the new all-time low for Bret. Although a drop like this to a new all-time low would be about 40 or 50%, which seems like a lot, as you can see on this chart, it's not looking far away at all, with Bret being such an incredibly volatile meme coin. Obviously, Bret has a very low market cap. It's not one of the major meme coins at all. It's not like Dogecoin or Pepe, which are also incredibly volatile on their own. But since Bret is such a small market cap meme coin, its volatility is absolutely insane. Bret is 92% down from its all-time high, and in the past, back in the mini alt season that we've had in late 2024, we've seen Bret go up 215% in about a month. So this type of insane volatility and quick moves is certainly not something new with Bret, and something that you must take into consideration if you are trying to trade such a coin. It is an incredibly risky asset, and as I said on the weekly chart, the structure is looking absolutely horrible. There's no real clear structure. It's basically just dumping and dumping, no significant support areas to really look at, and the only real hope for Bret in the long term is if we see Bitcoin getting a parabolic rally, which will lead to the rest of the altcoin market to rally as well, and we get an alt season, and basically the entire crypto market pumping, as well as meme coins like Bret. I do cover meme coins a lot on this channel, and some other meme coins have a much better structure. Although most meme coins have been doing very poorly recently, many of them like Dogecoin and Pepe and Pengu, which I do talk about on the channel, still do way better than Bret. As I mentioned in many videos on this channel, I am expecting Bitcoin to continue to outperform most altcoins, and I think that it's too early to get into meme coins. I think the only real chance for meme coins to do very well and start getting parabolic rallies is if we see Bitcoin approaching new all-time highs, because Bitcoin leads the bull market. As long as Bitcoin doesn't do well, altcoins, especially ones as fragile as meme coins, are not going to do well at all. For the most part, of course, there can be some exceptions, but most altcoins are not going to do well until Bitcoin does well, and getting into altcoins in general is not very smart in my opinion at the moment. So yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're a Bret holder or if you've been thinking about trading Bret. In my opinion, it's not a great time for meme coins at the moment in general, especially since the concern that the bear market may have started is getting much stronger as Bitcoin's price continues to drop. And even if we are still in a bull market, Bitcoin will outperform most altcoins, as I explained, at least until it reaches new all-time highs. And even within the meme coins section, Bret is looking like one of the worst meme coins in terms of structure and the price action, basically for the past year. I'll just briefly look at Bret on a 1-hour chart to look at a shorter time frame. And on this chart as well, as you can see, in the last few weeks, the structure is still looking absolutely horrible. Lower highs, lower lows, absolutely no sign of bottoming, although we have seen Bret getting a very small rally in the last couple of days in correlation with Bitcoin getting a bit of a bounce. As you can see on this chart, this bounce looks very small even on the 1-hour chart, but because Bret is so incredibly volatile, this very small bounce is actually a bounce of about 20%. So with any other coin, this would be absolutely insane. I mean, if we saw Ethereum bouncing 20% in a day, or Bitcoin, or even larger altcoins, it would be very impressive. But with Bret being such an incredibly volatile coin, this bounce of 20% is really nothing structurally looking at the chart, so I wouldn't get too excited about a 20% bounce with a coin like Bret. There's no real sign of bottoming for Bret. What would be a sign of a bottoming, at least in the short term, and a trend reversal would be if we get a lower high and we continue to another higher high and we start a new structure that is more bullish. Of course, none of what I'm saying in this video is financial advice, it's all just my opinion. If you enjoyed this update and you want more updates about Bret, about a bunch of other meme coins and altcoins, as well as Bitcoin and the crypto market in general, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.